What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining me today. I am back with Andy Leidick of Abigail Ginger Ale Photography today. What's going on, buddy? How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just trying to stay dry at this point.
Yeah, we have a tornado warning going on around us
Yeah.
with this storm coming up the coast. So if we disappear all of a sudden, that's why we probably lost power. But guys, if you were just joining us today, we're going to be digging into building systems and processes to be able to put in place. And obviously, it will help you if your kids are stuck at home during this new school year. But beyond that, you really should have systems and processes in place so that you're not doing everything manually anyway. And so Andy is going to be showing us a lot of the behind the scenes of what he's done because his brain works this way, right? Like his brain is like, okay, what's step 1 and what's step 27? And how do they need to meet together so that, nothing slips through the cracks. And so I'm super excited for this because he's going to be showing you stuff that's probably going to blow some of your minds. You may have not even thought about doing this before, but it's going to be pretty cool. So if you guys are just joining us, let us say hi. Let us know if you can hear us and you can see us well. If you're watching this on a replay, comment with replay. And Andy, you guys, you ready to jump in here?
Yeah, man, I am.
So talk to us a little bit about what you're going to be showing us. What is this?
So basically, I'm going to show you the back end of our entire process from start to finish. So it's basically everything that you're going to see is going to be like a point of contact. At what point we're going to be reaching out and like what steps do we have to take on the back end to do all this stuff, and why it's important too. Like that's also a big piece of this, why it's important and why we decided to do this in the first place.
Very cool. All right. So why don't you go ahead and share your screen and maybe show us like the overall big process, and then we can zoom into the smaller things. Well, let's start with your website. Someone comes to your website and they submit a lead, right?
Cool. So here it is. Here's our contact form. So this contact form is integrated with our CRM. So as soon as someone fills this out, this goes right into our CRM program. So once someone fills this out, I'll get a notification within HoneyBook. HoneyBook is what we're using for our CRM. And this is basically where all my projects live. So as soon as they inquire, they will get this, what HoneyBook calls a workflow. It's just basically an email sequence. So this is the sequence here. So they'll get my brochure and my initial inquiry email. And this sequence covers from the time that they inquire up until 30 days. So I'm sending them emails, between 0 and 30 days in case they don't, do anything with us. The whole purpose of this email sequence is to get them to sign up for a wedding consult. That's it. That's the only purpose this email sequence has. So each one of these emails will have, say like I have my first look blog, wedding vendors that we refer, info on our boudoir sessions, but I'll also have at the top in bold a link that they can click to set up a wedding consult.
Love it. So this first sequence here, this is particularly for your wedding inquiries. As soon as they fill out that form, not only are you going to respond quickly, but you're going to stay in touch with them. So, and this is huge, guys, because so much of the time we get an inquiry, we send them one email, we don't hear back from them, and we just consider it a lost lead, right? And that couldn't be more further from the truth, because what really happens is they email you, you email them back, and then 2 days later you email them again, and then 3 days later you email them again, and then 4 days after that you email them again. And sometimes it's that 6th or 7th email that actually gets 40% of the conversions. Okay. Yeah. So the one touch isn't enough, guys. If you only have one attempt after an inquiry comes in, you're selling yourself short, because sometimes it takes 6 to 7 times to follow up, and you're not being a nuisance. Remember that. They contacted you. So you're just trying to do your due diligence as a business owner to reach back out to them and get them the info that they wanted. And if after the 4th email they unsubscribe to you, That's perfect, because that means they weren't interested, and now they're removed from your CRM system and you don't have to clutter anything up. So don't just email one time. Don't just call one time when you get a lead. Take what Andy's doing here and just understand that the more that you follow up, the more that you give great information, not just, hey, do you want to book me? And then 2 days later, hey, do you want to book me? And then like over and over again, you've got to use the Gary V tech kind of approach where it's like the jab, jab, hook, right? So Andy's emails are showing a lot of different things. They're giving upfront value. They're talking about should you or shouldn't you do a first look. They're talking about all kinds of other things. So I love that, man. Keep going.
One of the really important things with this is that everything is automated. So there's no like possibility for user error on my side. Everything happens by itself. So I don't have to do anything. There's no required input from me. So if I get 50 inquiries in a week, I don't have to be emailing and doing all these actions myself. It's just automated. So what do you want to see next? Do you want to go to the flow and give an overview, or should we look at the next step here after the emails?
Yeah, let's go to the flow, the overview.
Okay. Let me just share this. All right. So this is the part of the process where they're inquiring right here. And this is what starts everything. Contact info is sent to CRM, and then they get their first email and the brochure from us. That's what I just showed you. What I didn't show you was what happens behind the scenes in Zapier. So Zapier is an automation software. That integrates with like pretty much everything. It's absolutely amazing. So when someone fills out the form, a zap in Zapier is going to be sent from HoneyBook to Zapier, and then that's going to do a bunch of cool different things. So one thing it's going to do, it's going to send it to my email marketing program so I can use it for later. And then the other cool thing, which I have here, is the Zap that's going to send them a text message 30 minutes after they inquired, just to remind them like, hey, check out your brochure that we just sent you. It's in your email. So I'm not just emailing them, I'm text messaging them too, because text messages have like a 95% open rate, and emails are like 20 to 35%, depending on how engaged your audience is. So I'm hitting them with a text message, reminding them that, hey, you got your brochure, it's in your email, and my brochure open rate is like almost 100% because of that. So that really helps just remind them like, hey, we're here. Don't forget to check this out.
And can you show what that brochure is that you send?
I can. Let me just pull this up. You guys are going to get to see everything. This isn't like only our clients get to see this kind of stuff. So this is, I'm like bearing it all here.
Yeah.
So once this decides to load, this is basically our brochure. Every single client gets this that inquires with us. Every single person basically goes over every package that we have, every little detail. So before they even schedule a consult with us, they know what our prices are, and it's just kind of weeding out the people who are not going to be within our price bracket. So this includes every single package, our elopements, our engagements, our a la carte stuff, everything.
That's awesome. And then that's the first email they get. They get a text message that reminds them to go check it in their email. And then over the next 30 days, they're receiving a bunch more emails all spaced out nicely so that you're continuing to give upfront value and asking for the consult.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is an example of a text message that was sent recently. Someone set up a call with Abby for, this date for their lifestyle session, and all this formatting and stuff. This is all done in Zapier. This is just to show you that this is the text message that was sent. So if you look in Zapier, we can actually like format it to pull. So it's pulling the name from our HoneyBook program. It's pulling their phone number from our CRM and everything. So this is all done automatically. Nothing is done on my part. It pulls this information because it's connected to my CRM within Zapier, and then it just boop sends them a text message.
Very cool. Now, guys, if you're already going, okay, I'm lost, don't worry, because Andy is working on being able to make this into a course where you guys will be able to just purchase the course, and it will come with all these flows. We may even have some type of add-ons where Andy can help you set it up, or depending on if there's interest in that or not. But what we're seeing here is that there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, and you may be going, okay, well, I see it, but how is it actually helpful? Well, the way it's helpful is, number one, it takes him no time now. When he receives an inquiry, his booking conversion rate is going to go through the roof, because he's got so many touch points with these clients that inquired with him, right? It's not like cold marketing where we're going out and putting a bunch of flyers in mailboxes or something like that, where we're wasting our time. These are people that are inquiring already, and then he makes sure that the customer experience face-to-face, but also as far as the automated emails and reminders and all that kind of stuff, is going to be flawless. And so when you implement this type of thing, number one, it's going to free up a ton of your time, because every single time you get an inquiry right now, if you don't have these set up, you have to send a new email, right? Or make a new phone call or whatever. And then after that, you have a bunch more emails that need to go out that you're going to have to write manually again, or at least sit there and bring up your, what do you call it when you have canned responses, right? So you may have a bunch of canned responses, which is a great step in the right direction, but having this all done automatically, and then just realizing when you wake up that you have a booking is great, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to note that when we first saw that we had a problem, before we even had this system implemented, we were, having, 20 inquiries a week across all of our brands. And we noticed that our conversions were just they just weren't good. Well, we weren't happy with them. We were getting leads in. We had no problem getting leads in, but they weren't converting. We're like, what is happening? So I basically took a whiteboard and wrote down every single time we contact a client. I wrote down everything. I wrote down, okay, we send them the initial email. Okay, we send them the brochure. Okay, we send them a follow-up email. Everything. When do we call them? Do we text them? Do we, add them to their Facebook group? What happens? Where does it happen? And then we basically mapped it all out, put it in order. And then we're like, okay, well, there's a hole here, so we need to do something about this. Let's automate a text message here, or add a couple emails in a sequence or whatever. So, I mean, we built it from scratch and wrote everything down, and that's basically how we did it. Because, again, conversions were not where we wanted them to be, and now our, getting people from inquiry to setting up a consult for weddings is in the 50 to 60% range, which is really, I think, is really awesome. Yeah. Boudoir is even higher. A boudoir is 70 to 80% conversion from inquiry to consult.
Very cool. Now, we have a question that says, do you have anything set up in place for if people message you on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn? How are you getting them into your CRM?
That's really cool, because I have a thing for that. So I'm going to try to pull this up really quickly to see if I can show that to you. But basically what I have here is I use a program called ManyChat, and ManyChat integrates with my Facebook business page, and it makes it so I can have them come in and a bot is going to respond. And that makes it really easy for me, because I don't have to be right in front of my computer physically answering them. And it basically funnels them into a sequence depending on what their input was. So I'm going to just pull this up so I can show you this. Okay. So this is what this looks like. I'm going to zoom in so you can actually see it here. So this is all built within ManyChat. So these message boxes is what the person messaging the page will see. And I have a couple of options. I want more info, a client with a question, or something else. And if they just want more info, it's going to take them and bring them, okay, what are they asking about? Wedding photography, boudoir photography, or couples boudoir. But if they have a question, it's going to give them an option to physically ask a question. Here it is, right here. So what this does is, all right, what can we do for you? They're going to input their question. We're going to ask for their email. They're going to give that to us. And then this is going to send me a text message saying, hey, someone just asked a question on your page. It's going to add them to my email marketing database. And it gives me a way for, to answer questions that I don't have canned responses for.
Yeah. And if you have no idea what ManyChat is, it is a chatbot software that we teach and utilize all the time. And it's not just, it's so hard to explain. It literally does anything call to action and then process beyond that. So like you could put pop-ups on your website for people to opt in through. You can run an ad that specifically pops up a messenger bot as soon as they click on the ad. You can do drop-down bars. You can do slide-ins. You can even track and use it for, your live chat there, right? So this is Andy's website, and you can see that he's using ManyChat's Facebook Messenger bot. So it's the built-in one from Facebook, which gives you a ton more pixel information when people click on it. So go ahead and click that, continue as Andy, and you can see that it pops up, and it'll be like, hey, Andy, what are you contacting us about, right? So this is what you just saw, him sharing his screen and that whole behind-the-scenes process, and this is what the user sees. So when they go to his page, they're going to message him like that, and then they can go through all the different options, and it's pretty intuitive. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, basically you have a link that is able to get people to click on, and then it inside the back end, it'll allow you to have a conversation with that person and break the bot if you wanted to, like break free from the automated bot and just immediately start having a conversation with them, or you can let the bot run its course. But beyond that, as it's asking them questions like what's their name, what's their email, what's their phone number, all of that is going to be pulled from ManyChat and sent over to his CRM as well. So in this one, I think you have a bunch of different sequences depending on what people are inquiring about, right?
Yeah, so like here in my wedding sequence, so when it splits off into that genre, I also have an option for them to download my wedding planning guide. So they can actually input their email, and this will fire a zap, and that which will tell my email marketing program to send the guide to them and put them into that sequence. So like the sequence, this is the sequence here. Basically, this is the confirmation email on the download link, and then I have a bunch of other emails in this to just give them further value and get them to book with us, basically. Yeah.
Nice. And do you have these types of things set up for boudoir as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I don't have a boudoir guide, but we are actually in the process of building one because we've had such success with the wedding process with the guide that we're building a boudoir one, and we're going to be building a family one closer to the fall.
Gotcha. So let's go a little bit further into the process. This was the inquiry and how that gets followed up with, but what's the next step? Say they do schedule a call, that maybe they book. What happens in the back end from there too?
So once they do book a call, this is this section here, this consultation row here. So once they schedule a call, they'll get an email 24 hours before and 2 hours before, and they're also going to get a confirmation text message from Zapier and a 24-hour text message reminder saying, hey, your call's at this time. Please be in a place where you can be distraction free and we can just have a good conversation. So, but yeah, so that's that. And then we do the physical consultation, whether it be Zoom or phone call or whatever it is.
Nice. And then they decide to book on the call. Mm-hmm. You go, great. Do you send them everything and wait for them to get back to you, or do you proactively do it while they're still on the call? So
with boudoir, we do it on the call. With weddings, we don't usually do it over the consultation. But again, I have another follow-up sequence for specifically weddings post console.
Right. So we have a question. Can you automate all of this with your CRM only? I mean, to begin with, it's a lot of work. Yes, it's a lot of work, but for the most part, this is all being done in a CRM. The only thing that's making it a little bit more complicated is the shared information between Zapier. So if you had a contact form and you made your contact form in your CRM, then you could just have your sequences connected to that, and you'd be good to go. You would still need to write all the emails, obviously, all that kind of stuff. But what we're hoping to do is when we launch this course, specifically how to build processes and systems, we want to have a lot of this done for you. So you would be able to just basically download all of the emails and all of that kind of stuff and just put them into your own CRM and tweak them a little bit to make sure you have your own business name, etc. But that's the idea here, is that what Andy has built, we want to be able to duplicate so that you all can have it without having to literally sit there and agonize through putting everything together. And then we're hoping possibly to have another option where you can just have Andy do it for you.
Yeah, I mean, there are some CRM programs that have all these features built in, but doing it with Zapier and TextMagic and ManyChat and all these different things, it gives us a lot more flexibility to do exactly what we want to do. I can set it up exactly the way I want it. I can have the time gate set up exactly the way I want it. So this is definitely the easiest way to do it because we're not limited by whatever program we're working in.
Yeah. So we have, what CRM do you guys recommend? So this is different based on your needs. HoneyBook is fantastic, and Sprout is fantastic. Most CRMs that are built in the photography industry by vendors in the photography industry are for client management, not marketing. So all they do is you manually enter, you just booked a new client, and that's where the system starts from. But what Andy's using is the preemptive marketing side of HoneyBook, which is huge. So I would say with Sprout, they just added a lot of the marketing aspects to it. So you can now do drip email campaigns, where a lot of places or CRMs like Dubsado, you can't do that. So Dubsado is not an email marketing system. They even say it when you purchase it. And if you send emails like Andy is doing with Dubsado, there's no way for them to opt out of the emails, which makes it illegal for you to do. So you can't use Dubsado to do this. All it is for already opted in booked client communication within Dubsado. So I would say HoneyBook is fantastic, and we'll put links for that after the live. Sprout is fantastic. We can link you to that. And then outside of that, Ontraport is what I use for everything. So Ontraport is an all-in-one. You do text messages, you can build landing pages, you can do all the stuff that we do all in one piece of software. It also is $180 a month to start out with. Our plan is $300 a month. So if you can't swing that, then I would say Sprout or HoneyBook is the way to start.
Another cool thing about all this stuff that I have, I pay for Zapier, I pay for TextMagic, I pay for ManyChat, I pay for Constant Contact. It's still cheaper than Ontraport. I love Ontraport. It's amazing. But if you're trying to be a little bit more financially conscious, this is a little bit easier on the wallet.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. So what else are we missing here? Do we already show everything?
Well, I have the boutique process and the data backup process I can show. I have a bunch of stuff in Zapier I can show. It's up to you. What do people want to see?
Yeah, let's see the other processes maps, because guys, Andy has this for his backup. Okay, like what he's doing with the pictures after a wedding, like he has everything mapped out. So check this out, right? Sometimes he even uses this graphic to show to his clients that are like, so what's going to happen with my photos? And are you sure you're not going to lose them? He's like, yeah, check this out. This is what we do.
Yeah.
Right.
This is just my on-site backup. This doesn't even include cloud backup. So this is like physically in my studio, in my office. This is what I have. And I show people this and they're like, oh, wow, this is prepared. You're prepared.
Right.
And they're like, wow, okay, I'm not worried about losing my photos because obviously you guys are thorough.
Yeah. All right, let's see. We have someone said, sign me up, Andy. Can I have Andy do it, please?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
All right. Yes, it's not. I use Aweber for email marketing. Okay, that's better. Let's see. I use Zapier to send email and name to MailChimp from Dubsado. All right, that's perfect. That'll work. What you really want to have in place is you need to envision what happens from the moment that you get that inquiry all the way through to after you've done the session to you can even have automation in there for follow-ups and getting reviews, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, like, it was great to work with you, Sarah. Take a minute and give us a review here, etc. So,
yeah.
All right, let's see. Somebody wants to see the Zapier integration, and let's show that stuff.
Cool. All right. So Zapier. So this is everything that I have in here. So I've got a bunch of different things. So like, even like I have when someone schedules a call with us, it'll text Abigail because she does all the calls. And some days she'll have like 10 calls to do in a day. So 10 minutes before the call, it'll shoot her a reminder text message with the client's name, what they're talking about, and their phone number. So she doesn't even have to like do anything. She just look at her text messages and call people. It's just something on the back end that works really, really well for us.
Real quick, let me jump in here. So if you have no idea what Zapier is, it's essentially an if this, then that program. Okay. So you can say, if I get a lead that comes in from my Honeybook form, I want you to take just their name and email address, and I want you to send it to Constant Contact, right? Or if we get a lead from that form, then send over this entire contact information to Constant Contact and trigger this or add this tag to them as well so that it triggers a specific sequence. But that's essentially, and you can do basically anything with Zapier. It allows multiple different software programs to communicate and to pass data from one to the next without losing anything, so that there's a consistent flow between all communication.
Yeah. It's like if this, then that on steroids.
Yeah. I don't think you showed what happens in there. You just brought it up for a second.
Oh yeah. What did you want to say?
Let's see. They just want to see the Zapier integration, so maybe show a couple different things that it does.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. So this is text message reminders for the day before and right before. So basically, once the event is created in Calendly, it's only going to continue if it's a wedding consult. So I have like multiple events set up in Calendly. So it's going to say, okay, if this is a wedding consult, I'll continue. Or if it's not, it won't continue. Then it's going to actually send a text message. And then it has another one, which is going to delay. This one is a day before their actual consult. So it's going to say, okay, this is the date minus a day. It's going to send them a reminder saying, hey, you have a call with Abigail and Andy at this time. And then it'll only continue if it hasn't been canceled. So if like this will even filter out canceled events too. So it's not just going to send it to someone who signed up and then canceled. It's only going to send it if the meeting is on. And
Very
then it's
cool.
going to send a message.
Love it.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah. Text magic is amazing, and text messages are amazing in the same sense that chatbots are. So when you send an email on a good day, 24% of those emails are going to be opened, and 1% of the links inside those emails are going to be clicked. When it comes to text and chatbots, 95% are opened and 95% of the links inside are clicked. It is a totally different game, and it is how millennials and Gen Xers want to communicate with you. So if you text them, they will text you back. and they love it, and they're like, oh my God, this is flawless, and they're going to rave about it just simply because you text them. Okay. Like, they don't want to be on the phone with you half the time as a first step. They are fine to get on the phone once they believe that what you're offering is something that they'd be interested in, but their high-paced lives are not allowing for them to be able to jump on the phone all the time. Roberto said, I signed up with Text Magic after the last live. It works great. Had some leads finally get back to me.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
They have an iPhone app too, which is really great because you can do a bunch of stuff within their iPhone app. You can text people back from the number that you have dedicated to your account. And you can just, if someone asks a question that, within that number, you can just send it right back to them, and you don't have to use your own phone number. You can just use the one that you have, and it's really easy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
He also asked, would love to see how to trigger a text message integrating through Zapier.
Would love to see how to do it. Okay, I can show that. So this basically is doing that. So like this is your trigger. So
you got to share it again.
Oh shoot. All right. So this is going to be your trigger. Whoa. So Calendly is your trigger, right? So as soon as they schedule an event, you're going to choose your account and set all that up, and then you're going to filter for which event. So that's basically what I have here. So it's only going to trigger for wedding consults. And then basically I can just click this plus icon. I can type in Text Magic here. And then I can choose like, okay, do I want to send a message, or what else can I do? I can do a bunch of different stuff, but in this case, we're going to want to send a text message. And as soon as I hit continue, it's going to choose my account. And then it's going to allow me to customize the message. So I can be like, hey, Chris, or I can do, hey, first name of whatever event this is. And then, thanks for scheduling. And it can basically say like, okay, the event time is this time, and we're going to be calling you from this phone number, and I can put in basically whatever I want there. And that's it. It's pretty simple. Uh-oh. Did we lose you?
Oh, sorry. Go back to that main mind map real quick.
The main one? This one?
You have to share your screen again.
Oh my goodness, I'm terrible at this. All right. This one?
Yeah. All right. So do you guys have questions about this process? Because you'll notice that on the left-hand side of the screen there, it says what part of the process they're in. So whether it's the inquiry or the follow-up, or they've booked a consultation or post-booking, all that stuff is there. So you're thinking through the process of what happens first and then what needs to happen second. And this is all stuff that you would normally be manually doing, right? But because of being able to create these systems and have these processes in place, you're now only writing the email one time and the text messages one time. And then your system is going to be able to power it behind you so that you don't have to worry about anything. And all you're doing is getting text messages going, hey, you have a new consult. And it's like, oh, sweet. Right. So it's no longer, oh, look, we just have a new lead. It's, we have a new consult and you need to call them on this day at this time. So it really cuts out a lot of that time intensive stuff. And as kids are going back to school or not going back to school and being home, there's going to be a lot more demand on your time. But you still want to be able to create the same amazing client experience for those people that are going to be potential clients. So this is something that you guys can do. And it definitely does take some time to get set up in the beginning. But as we continue grinding this out and putting this course together, we'll update you guys. Maybe we'll do like a live building class or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, stay tuned, guys, because I think this can really help so many of you, especially the people that have already purchased our Facebook ads course. And you may have written one sequence or something for your one ad that you ran, you could really benefit from having all these things in place, regardless of what niche you have. So hopefully this has been helpful for you guys. And if you have questions moving forward, go ahead and leave them as a comment, and we'll make sure that we get back to you on them. But other than that, thanks for joining us today. Andy, thanks so much for the great information.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
We'll talk to you guys soon. Later.